Welcome, everyone. Welcome into Adventures by D. We're so excited to be here with our special guest, Dawn from the Hitchhiking Bones. Welcome in, Dawn.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime, anytime. So tonight we're going to talk about The Mandalorian, kind of review some of our favorite episodes, favorite characters, give a little bit of background, and big thing is what we want to see in season 3. I know I had a number of creators on for May the 4th, including the Hitchhiking Bones. Mm-hmm. We never got a chance to talk about The Mandalorian at all, which I think we really should have got a chance. And so now we're going to continue that conversation. I'm excited to have Dawn here and talk about The Mandalorian. And
Sounds good.
Before I get into the Star Wars talk, Dawn, why don't you introduce your channel and tell everybody what they see if they come over and visit you on the Hitchhiking Bones, which they should do.
Well, we would absolutely love that. The Hitchhiking Bones is our channel name is obviously a play on the Hitchhiking Ghost from the Haunted Mansion, which is our favorite attraction. It's also our last name. So it kind of everything, just kind of fell into place for our channel name. We have been on YouTube for about almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in October. And we do live streams from the parks. We have, a playlist from, all of our live streams in the parks. So when we go, we love to do that. We do Hitchhiker Chat, which is Disney news, Disney topics, just all kinds of stuff. That's on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. We drop a video every Saturday, and then some extras during the week if we can. But it's mainly it's just our love of Disney. We have always loved the parks. We've always, from the time William, my son, it's kind of a joint effort. We both take care of the channel and do the channel. And from the time his first trip to Walt Disney World, he was 3 years old, and he just kind of caught that Disney, spirit like I did, and we just love it. And so we started a channel.
Awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah, so go check them out. Consider subscribing. I've been a subscriber for a while, and enjoy your content and the chat, as well as Disney and the other parks that you've been to. So
thanks.
Check out the Hitchhiking Bones. So I'm Dave from Adventures by D. So this is our second and fourth Thursday live stream. We're going live twice a month on Thursdays. We cover a variety of topics. Sometimes it's theme parks, sometimes it's Star Wars, sometimes it's trip reviews. Speaking of which, I know we're going to have some good food reviews coming from Savannah soon. If you follow us on Instagram, which you should be, we posted some good looking food that Kris and my children out there from Adventures by D got to taste some of the Low Country Boil and visited Paula Dean's restaurant out there.
Oh gosh, how nice.
Yeah, I think that's going to be right up there with Homecoming as far as fried chicken. I've heard good reviews, so stay tuned for those vlogs. And some other vlogs coming from the parks. One thing I'm really excited about is that in 2 weeks, I won't be here from the home studio. I will be at a park I've never been to, which is Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going down there, and Dean will be with me, and we're going to live stream the Spark, their summer celebration. So it's fireworks, fire, water, and excited to be back in person for a fireworks show in a park. So really looking forward to that. Come back at 8:30 in 2 weeks, and you'll see that. So stay tuned. Very excited. We have not had a park live stream at that time before. Normally for the parks, you got to ring the bell to find out when we go live. They're typically pop-ups, but this one, I feel good enough about the technology, and the show is really good. So I think you're going to enjoy it. So stay tuned for that. The thumbnail is up. You can go to our channel and set the reminder right now.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Yeah, Busch Gardens. We are really overdue for a trip to Busch Gardens. Actually, it's it's a great park. Like I said, it's been probably 10 years, but I think you will love it. Busch Gardens is a special park. It is definitely worth your time. I was telling my husband the other day that we're just overdue for a trip to Busch Gardens. We need to go. And our channel, we love Disney, and it's mainly Disney, but we have other things on our channel too. So I look forward to that to watching that. That's gonna be fun.
Well, the other great thing about Busch Gardens and SeaWorld is that if you have the right setup to record on the rides, you can do POVs from the roller coasters, which is pretty rare.
Yeah,
Pretty rare amongst the amusement parks. But
that's true.
There, as long as you have a camera mount that they're satisfied with from safety and security, some type of GoPro-like camera and mount, you can record on the ride. So that's exciting.
Nice.
Looking forward to that. So
it is. That is cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily looking forward to getting on the drop tower they have there with my GoPro, but I'll have to do it for the channel.
Yeah, the things we do for you too, Brian. Yeah, you can do it.
Exactly. All right, so let's dive in. Welcome, Sea Squid Man. Welcome in. So let's dive into The Mandalorian some. Premiered 2 years ago, highly anticipated, and created by Jon Favreau. I know with a lot of input from Dave Filoni. First season 2 years ago, debuted in November, 8 episodes. And then the following season debuted last October with 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And they kind of do it like a rotating directors. They have some great directors, which we're going to get into. They rotate episodes, but, I wasn't sure what to expect, but the thing that blew me away was the quality of what I saw and then the storytelling. Those two reminded me of the first 3 movies back in the 70s. It was that good when I thought nothing that I'd seen from Star Wars since the 70s was quite that good, which is George Lucas set a high bar. But my initial impressions, and Don, I'll throw it to you for yours, where I was blown away by the quality, the storytelling, and the technology they use, which we're going to talk about as well. So what were your initial impressions when you turned on Mando, season 1, episode 1?
Well, now it's interesting, Dave, that you say that, because that was, Jeff and I were watching, my husband and I were watching this, together. And at the end of that first episode, The Mandalorian in season 1, I turned to my husband and I said, this is the best content we've gotten since 1977 when Star Wars came out. I'm like you. I'm blown away by everything. The directing is amazing. The fact that they had, I think, 6 different directors. The music is incredible. I listen to the music on, the various streaming stations. The dialogue, the storyline, the actors, the characters. It's fantastic. It is the best Star Wars content we've gotten, hands down, since the original trilogy and since, George Lucas had a hand in it. I agree 100%.
Yeah, the music, I forgot to mention that. That was on my list. It's phenomenal. It fits so well with the stories. I mean, it fits like a glove. I forget the young man's name that did it, but I don't have his name in front of me. I looked it up earlier.
It's Ludwig Göransson.
Very nice.
Ludwig Göransson did the music for it, and I made a note of it because I think the music is phenomenal. It's very fitting. I love the fact that basically what you have here is a space western.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I cannot say enough how much I think, top down, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, all the way down to the guy who's sweeping the floor in the studio. Thank you for this content. Hey, Carol. Garrett. Hey, guys.
Welcome in, everybody. Garrett and Karki and Sea Squid Man again. We're just talking about The Mandalorian. We're just getting started here with the special guest, Dawn from the Hitchhiking Bones. So excited to have her on. We're just going over our initial impressions. Before we get the favorite episodes, what did you think about the character like the Mandalorian himself? And then we'll talk about some of the surrounding characters.
Well, first of all, I am so excited to see more of the Star Wars story in canon, and the Mandalorians are, it's interesting that Boba Fett, who was a not a main character, obviously, in the first Star Wars, how he has just exploded as a main character for so many people. I have several friends who are just Boba Fett crazy. So to get to see more of the Mandalorian story, to hear more about their religion and their planet and their, this is the way, is phenomenal. And I think that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are just kind of a dream team, along with the other directors. They have given us such great content and filled in some holes there in the story for us as to what happened after Order 66, and the holes that were there in the leadership. They say, what is it? Power abhors a vacuum. I can't remember if I'm quoting that right, but there's a definite vacuum there because there's nobody really in power, and so what you have is kind of this old West, kind of type justice, and the Mandalorians have basically had to go into hiding. The Empire's basically destroyed their planet. They're in hiding. It's really fascinating stuff, but I especially enjoyed getting to hear more about their religion. We see the armorer. I love the armorer, and the pieces the gaps that she fills in, and how she talks to the Mandalorian, the other Mandalorians, and Mando himself about their religion. And it's fantastic stuff. If you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't watched The Mandalorian, man, it's amazing. It's the best series I've seen in years, bar none. I love it.
Yeah, I mean it's so good. I mean, the music, the characters, the stories in each episode's like a mini movie. I feel like, with the exception of a couple that are obviously continued, for the most part, each episode is kind of a nice capsule of a Star Wars, like you said, a space Western. Especially, there was one in season 1. If we want to look at the episodes, there's 8 episodes a season. I think it's called The Prisoner, where he makes a deal with a band of kind of outlaws, and they get on the ship, and there's all kinds of characters. There's 4 or 5 of them, and then of course he ends up being double crossed. But there's that, and then the other thing, there's so many callbacks to the original movies. I mean, the list goes on and on, but like the Carbonite in the first one, I love Jawas and the Sandcrawler. We haven't seen the Sandcrawler in decades.
Exactly.
That was awesome.
Exactly.
I love the Jawas. And I miss the Jawas. You remember when you could meet them in the...
Oh, yeah. Oh, I do too. Yeah. This Our Dream. Jeff and Angela had posted some pictures of their kids, like, years ago. Of course, their kids are teenagers now, but when they were little bitty, and they're meeting the Jawas, and I didn't even know you can meet the Jawas. So it's fun.
Thank you, Carol. Don and I are on the competition for the best Mandalorian outfit and tips and tricks. I see Grogu behind her. Welcome in, Blue Pig Gaming. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm a resistance tech tonight. This is a resistance jacket that I got at the Trading Post at Disneyland, the Star Wars Trading Post at Disneyland, and it has some great patches. It says resistance on the back. It's really cool. So I'm a resistance tech tonight.
Don't tell anybody. I'm wearing my daughter's The Child hat. I do have Star Wars hats, but I thought I would go with my Mandalorian Hawaiian shirt here.
Yeah, that is great. My husband will love that, by the way.
I saw it. I'm like, oh, this is perfect for the live stream coming up. I think I'll just pick it up while I'm in the store.
Right. It's great.
So let's talk about like favorite characters here. What are some of your favorite characters?
Well, I did want to mention the prisoner episode.
Okay.
That you were talking about.
Yeah.
Bill Burr is the guy that plays Miggs Mayfield in that one. That I remember that is a particularly stressful episode because he goes in with this rogue these rogue bounty hunters, and he tells the child when he decides to go and see this guy, and he gets mixed up with these, you know, questionable characters. He tells the child this is probably not a good idea. But we're introduced to Miggs Mayfield, who is Bill Burr. And then we also see Miggs again in season 2. So, and he has a chance in season 2 to kind of redeem himself. So, in The Believer, we see him in The Prisoner, which is chapter 6 of season 1, and then we see him again in The Believer, which is chapter 15 of season 2. And he ended up being one of my favorite characters. I think Miggs Mayfield, especially when you watch The Prisoner and then you go back and watch The Believer in season 2. I'm hoping we'll see him again in season 3. I really am. He's totally not likable in The Prisoner. He's a ruffian. You're rooting against him. But then when you see him in season 2, it's like, okay, it gives a lot of his backstory and why he has chosen to be, to lead this life of crime and be a bounty hunter, and he, doesn't care about anybody or anything. And so he kind of has a chance to redeem himself. And I think Bill Burr just plays him to perfection. Other favorite characters. One of my very favorite characters in the whole series is Cara Dune, played by Gina Carano. I absolutely fell in love with her character. She's a dropper. They call her a dropper. She's a former resistance fighter, and I think Gina Carano is perfect for the role. I hate that she's no longer there. I hope they can bring her back. But Gina Carano is one of Williams. I think she's probably Williams' favorite character too. So Gina Carano is at the top of my list. As far as favorite characters. Other favorite characters. Obviously Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka was one of my favorite characters. I watched the Clone Wars. William said, I had not watched the Clone Wars, and the Clone Wars has been out for a while. 8 seasons of that animated series was also done by Dave Filoni. And Ahsoka Tano was introduced as Anakin's Padawan in the Clone Wars. And she was voiced by Ashley Eckstein. And I absolutely love Ahsoka Tano. When I found out that she was going to be on The Mandalorian, I was just so excited. And I love it. Rosario Dawson plays her to perfection, I think, in The Mandalorian. So it was good to see her character, brought from animation into The Mandalorian. And it's called The Jedi. Season 2, chapter 13 is where Ahsoka comes into it. It's called The Jedi, that episode.
I thought she did great too. She was perfect, Rosario Dawson for Ahsoka. I mean, the makeup was just like her, but her acting was really good, and I'm glad they have some strong actors, which I'm glad. It's not just, you think of Mando, okay, could be other people inside that suit, stunt doubles at times, but the part of the success of the show, I think, is they have a strong supporting characters and some strong actors, even in some of the supporting roles, which I think is super.
They do. And with Rosario Dawson, what I read a lot going, prior to that particular episode, and they said that Rosario Dawson studied Ahsoka, and she, her movements, her facial expressions, everything. She really wanted to, to play that character well, and she did. She absolutely just knocked it out of the park, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of fans were disappointed because Ashley Eckstein had voiced Ahsoka Tano in the Clone Wars, and I was kind of too, but I think Ashley Eckstein kind of made peace with it. That Rosario Dawson played her, and because she saw how well she played the character. And so there was, I think she kind of made peace with it that she, wasn't in the live action too. But
Yeah, I grew up on the Clone Wars with my son. That was his like 70s Star Wars, the Clone Wars. So
it's great.
yeah,
it's great.
It was. They did a really, because I'm like, there was rumors that Ahsoka Tano was going to be on there. I'm like, well, that's tough making a cartoon character come to life, right? I mean, just not going to please everybody, but she did a great job, and I was rewatching some of it, and tough research for the live stream here, and it's like she comes on there and she's Ahsoka Tano. I mean, the makeup, and she wields the lightsabers, and unbelievable.
Well, they did the same thing with Katie Sackhoff and Bo-Katan Kryze, her character. And Katie Sackhoff did actually voice Bo-Katan in the Clone Wars. And then, they brought her on, and the animated Bo-Katan looks like Katie Sackhoff. And so, and Katie is a good actress in her own right. So for her to be able to come, after having voiced Bo-Katan, to come into, that was one that I was really excited too, when I found out that Katie Sackhoff was actually going to play Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian. That was another one that they just, with this series, Dave, they just kept blowing me away. They just kept blowing me away. I heard, with everything they did is just phenomenal. Katie Sackhoff, of course, I've got listed as one of my, Bo-Katan as one of my favorite characters. She is a complicated character. She, at the end of season 2, we kind of saw, she was a member of the Death Watch on, she helped to overthrow her sister as queen of Mandalore. And so Duchess Satine of Mandalore. So she's complicated, and I love her. But I don't, it's interesting because, but William said, Mom, she's a bad guy, and I said, well, is she, is she going to be a bad guy? They left us with kind of a cliffhanger there at the end of season 2 with her, she and the throne, she wants to claim her, and she is the heir. She is the rightful heir to the throne of Mandalore. So that whole storyline has to work itself out. Guys, it's fantastic stuff. It's great stuff, and new, fresh Star Wars content. So,
Blue Pig Gaming, you mean what do we think overall about the show? Put something else in the chat. I'm not sure what you're asking there. I'm happy to try to answer it, Don and I. I'm just want to make sure I understand the question there. But let's get back to the show and some of the characters. I think one of the great things about it is what you said, Don. Some of the characters, you don't know if they're bad or good. Or take IG-88, or IG-11, sorry.
Yeah.
That's a favorite character because he's this assassin. And when I saw the preview and he's shooting up all those potential stormtroopers there as they're trapped to get in to get the child, like, oh my gosh, that guy's awesome. And then he comes back as the child's protectors. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, it really was. Well, and Kuil reprogrammed him, and he comes back. He comes back as a nurse droid, which is hilarious.
Yes.
It was just, again, the story there. I mean, IG-11 units are to be feared. They're fierce. That they're known throughout the galaxy as, you don't mess with an IG-11. And for Kuil to, rescue him and reprogram him as a nurse droid for the child is hilarious. It's just good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, hey, Francisco.
Welcome in, Daniel, Francisco. And yes, Blue Pig Gaming said the show overall. The Resistance. Yeah, I think the show, as far as the Resistance and the Empire, I think Don said it earlier. I agree with that. I don't know for sure, but it's kind of a power vacuum right now. So you've got the new. So I was rewatching it the last couple of weeks, and I guess the New Republic is kind of what we thought of as the previous kind of Republic, that the rebellion, I should say. I'm sorry, no better, right? And so, and then you've got Moff Gideon showing up towards the end. It's like, whoop, the Empire's back. We thought they were gone, but they're never truly.
With the dark saber, no less.
Yes, the dark saber. That was another one. Like, ooh, what is that?
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, the again, it seemed like, it's, and William and I did a show, and the episodes are on our channel. It's called Mandomania, where we reviewed each chapter of The Mandalorian. And it was like, in order to get ready for each show, we would watch each episode and make notes and what have you. And I mean, we would, sometimes while I was making notes, we were getting ready, for the show, trying to figure out, Francisco, hey, what we were going to say. It was hard to fit all of that into a 1 hour episode. We did it, basically at lunchtime, and there was just so much to it. It was just each episode, just, it was like it was like dominoes falling. You just think, what are they going to serve us up next? It was just really exciting, and I'm totally pumped for season 3. I think at the end of season 2 there, where they show Fennec and Boba Fett, go back to Tatooine, was just the best cliffhanger in the world. What's going to happen there? There's so many open plot lines, and it's wide open as to what direction we could go with the story now. It's very exciting to me.
Well, like blown away every episode, like Boba Fett comes back. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought he died in the Sarlacc pit. I'm still trying to figure that out. He mentioned something when I rewatched about being rescued from the sands of Tatooine, but assume he got rescued somehow, some way. But when the first time, I never realized that was the Boba Fett. I recognized the armor, but I think like us all from the 70s and 80s, he's aged a little bit, but he could still wield that staff pretty well against those stormtroopers.
Well, and Tamara Morrison is the actor that plays a Boba Fett, and I love these people, like my friend John and several people who are huge Boba Fett fans. They have to be thrilled with what Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have done with this character in The Mandalorian, because Tamara Morrison plays Boba Fett as no nonsense, kick tail, get the job done. He is fantastic, in this. He aligns himself obviously with Mando and helps him, to find the child. And so, and I have seen or have read, that Tamara Morrison, when they actually approached him about being Boba Fett, he was like a kid. He said, I was just, when they approached me and I, went in for the interview and what have you, he said, this was just a dream come true. He was like, I was just like a kid. I was so excited about the prospect of playing Boba Fett. So, it's just really amazing that all of the pieces to this show are so individually excellent. Normally you can say, okay, well, I feel like this was a weakness or that was a weakness, or, the writing here was not as good, or everything's solid. That's my opinion. Everything is solid in the show. So Boba's armor. Okay. Blue Pig Gaming says Boba's armor protected him from the Sarlacc. So, and then we see, Boba Fett's armor come back with Timothy Oliphant's character. Let's see, let me look that up.
That was called The Marshal. That episode, that was another great. I mean, they all great episodes.
I know.
You have that armor on, and then the sandworm or sand snake, and then you get to see the Tusken Raiders for like more than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That was awesome too.
It was.
And then one of those, is that banthas, that elephants?
Yeah, the banthas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so great. Like, I didn't even mention the Tusken Raiders. They're awesome to see them for any length of time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And all of it, they brought us, like you said, so many glimpses, or not really glimpses, but better looks at the Sand People. And, the Sarlacc and the crate dragon. That's the name of the dragon that they were, the crate dragon. And it's just more information, as a Star Wars fan, it's just great to get Cobb Vanth. There you go. And I thought Timothy Oliphant did a fantastic job of playing Cobb Vanth. He does a lot of Westerns, and he was so believable in that role. Just good stuff, good stuff.
I forgot to mention a personal favorite of mine that's in the show, Amy Sedaris. She's like the keeper of the pit droids. I think her name is Pele Mata.
Yes.
I'm a big Letterman fan, and she was like a Letterman house guest. She must have been on that show
okay.
times.
Yeah.
So I recognize she had her own show on Comedy Central too.
But, neat. Yeah.
But
yeah,
again, another great choice for that role.
Yeah, the casting was fantastic. Grief Karga, when they brought in Grief Karga, golly, I was so excited to see Carl Weathers again. Huge Carl Weathers fan from way back, and his portrayal of Grief Karga. Carl Weathers is like 72. Can you tell he's 72 in this series?
I hope I look half as good at 72 like that.
I've always been a Carl Weathers fan. I've been, always. And to see him, as Grief Karga and to play that role so well is just amazing. He did a good job there. And the other character that I wrote down as being one of my favorites was Kuiil, played by Nick Nolte.
Yes.
Kuiil, and it just about broke my heart, spoiler alert, when he went down. But I was afraid they were going to get him.
Well, yeah, it broke my heart too. The child went with him. So I was like, that's the other couple things where the child is kind of, been taken back for half an episode, and then he winds up coming back. But that just adds to the drama. Welcome in, Captain Jack.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
I agree, Captain Jack.
You even got the Mando mug. You've out mugged me for the stream.
I do. I've got my Baby Yoda.
Very
Baby
nice.
Yoda. William picked that up for me in Walt Disney World.
I see Grogu back there. I noticed it.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do we want to? So, if you're enjoying the stream, give a thumbs up. Consider, visiting both of our channels. The Hitchhiking Bones Dawn's on, and then our channels, Adventures by D. We cover Disney theme parks, Adventures by D, zoos, gardens. We're out of the Atlanta, Georgia area, and getting ready to stream it a couple weeks from Busch Gardens, Tampa. My initial trip, so I'm excited about that. We're going to stream the Spark Summer Nights Fireworks / Pyrotechnics / lasers / I don't know what else show. So I'm looking forward to that.
That should be really good. I think now you said you'd never been to Busch Gardens, so man, I think you're gonna love it. It really is it's a nice park. It really is.
Yeah, I've been to Williamsburg and DC area once, and my son has been to the Tampa one, but I've not been to the Tampa one.
Thanks, Carol.
Karki is our mod extraordinaire, so thank you, Karki, as always. Let's see here. So we've talked a little bit about the episodes, about the characters. Let's talk about the technology, and then we're going to get to predictions for season 3 here. I have not read any of the High Republic Blue Pig Gaming, but I want to. Maybe my son has read some of those. I have not.
Tracy Glenn, Kinsey Day's dad, has read, I guess, all of the Star Wars books, and so I'm about to jump off into the Star Wars books, and I'll definitely put that on the list. There are several of them, and so I look forward to getting into those for more Star Wars content. And that's canon, right, Blue Pig? I think the High Republic is canon.
So let's talk about there's some groundbreaking technology. I'm not a filmmaker, but I've seen enough of the documentaries. If you want to go in the gallery series on Disney Plus, there's episode, I think it's episode 4, and I'm showing the screen here from the Star Wars website. It talks about, I've heard it called the volume, but I think the trademark name is Stagecraft. And what it is, it's basically a room full of LCD screens where they can create in-camera effects on LCD screens like they're on another planet, and they mix that up with physical foreground things that actually are there. So let me blow this up, and I think you can still hear us talk in a full screen layout. But you can see like the bottom of the Razor Crest there is a mock-up, but the top of it is the ceiling of that LCD room, for lack of a better description.
Isn't that incredible, man?
To me, that's awesome, because the actors, and I'm not an actor, but they say in the documentaries they have things to act against versus all the green screen stuff.
Right.
That type of technology is out there, and I watched Favreau say in the documentaries that that was evolving from his live action Lion King and Jungle Book, where they used some of that technology, but they came up with this technology just for the Mandalorian, and now I hear they're going to use it in the Obi-Wan series, which is pretty exciting.
Well, I tell you, I'm major excited about the Obi-Wan series. Obi-Wan is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and so I'm super excited to see that. And Ahsoka, of course.
Of course. Let me get out of this here.
Now, this screen, this technology that they use, where they mix, the on stage props with this ginormous screen, is, and I talk a little bit about this in the Mandalorian series about how, they once they kind of started using this and mixing the screen with some actual physical props, that sometimes like when they walk into the sound stage, when George Lucas came into the sound stage
from a Padawan, so to where he is now.
There you go.
Thank you, Karki. So Dean, what have you thought about The Mandalorian so far, the first 2 seasons?
Well, it's obviously great. I mean, I'm already disposed to like everything Star Wars, so I loved it. I was listening to the live stream in the car, so I've heard pretty much of everything, like what you've said. I've heard the last couple of minutes, obviously, because I just got home. We just came from Savannah, so, I'm just hopping in to join the conversation.
Nice.
Okay, all right. Any predictions? We're getting to the predictions part here. What do you think about season 3? Predictions of what you'd like to see?
It's more like which Clone Wars character is going to show up is my prediction. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of who. It's the Filoni special, really.
Well, who would you like to see from the Clone Wars show up?
Literally anybody.
Anybody?
Please. I mean, I don't know. That's actually a spoiler for the Bad Batch. Never mind.
All right, we're not talking Bad Batch here. That'll have to be another stream.
Which needs to be another stream, by the way.
Yes, I'm behind. Dean has told me I'm behind on the Bad Batch, so I've only seen one episode, but it's high on my list.
Okay, well, the one of the main storylines that I want to see continued and to see how they're going to pursue this and what's going to happen is Bo-Katan is obviously hunting, and you're going to have to help me because his name escapes me. I don't have it written down in these particular notes. The blue guy.
Blue guy?
Yeah. If William was here, he would know. I'm trying to think.
Which Dean? Maybe
I know a lot of blue guys.
She is hunting. It's
maybe somebody in chat can help us out.
Yeah, the guy that he was one of the bad guys in Rebels.
Oh, Thrawn. Yeah.
Yes,
Thrawn.
General Thrawn. That's, obviously Thrawn is going to have to come into this in some capacity because she is hunting him. So
Yeah.
now that's going to be really fascinating, guys, because Thrawn is blue. I mean, this is going to have to be, the casting is going to have to be really perfect for this character. And I'm anxious to see what they do, because it's, or Ahsoka. It's not, I said Bo-Katan. Ahsoka is Admiral Thrawn. Exactly. Garrett, thank you. Ahsoka is chasing this guy. She's hunting this guy. And so Admiral Thrawn is going to show up at some point in either Ahsoka or the Mandalorian or something. We're going to see Admiral Thrawn. And I'm really excited about that, because he is, he's kind of a Vulcan. He reminds me of a Vulcan. I know I'm invoking the wrong. This is the wrong series.
You can't mix the two.
I know. It's my bad, but I just for the sake of of this comparison.
Let it go this time.
Okay, and that's my one strike. I promise I won't do it again. But he is kind of Admiral Thrawn is kind of a Vulcan type person. He's very logical. He is ruthless. And it's very hard to deceive him because of that, because his logic is perfect. And so it's really hard to put anything over on him. And because of that, he's extremely dangerous. So really excited to see him as a possible character in any of them.
Maybe they can get who's the guy that was blue in the Guardians? Mandu, or what's his name?
Yondu. Yeah.
Oh, maybe they could get the same actor. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it would be really cool to see Admiral. And I think because Ahsoka mentions him. So
yeah, and he's actually, there's like I guess you could say Easter egg in the episode. Ahsoka shows up, and all the bad guys in that Imperial village, I guess you could say, have his like emblem on their helmets and like his HK robots. So obviously something's going on there.
Yeah, and who they'll get to play him. That'll be really interesting. They're going to have to, but they've done so well with all the casting up to this point. I think it's just going to be more cream to see who they cast as Admiral Thrawn. But I think we'll definitely see him, which is fun.
So we haven't talked about one of the major plot things that happened at the end of the episode or season 2, like the thing. I don't know about you, but when I saw that X-Wing come up, I mean, I got giddy as a
freak out. Right?
I'm like, oh wait, I know that's a Jedi. That narrows it down to like 2 people.
Freak out. Yeah. Okay, Jeff and I were on vacation, right? My husband and I were on vacation, and we were like, we were just just kind of taking it easy, drinking coffee, what have you, and so we were like sitting in bed watching this, watching this episode on TV, right? And I knew it was going to be good. There was tons of hype leading up to that episode. And I was like, when I saw the X-Wing come up, okay, I started, really getting excited. And then you see, and Cara Dune says, one X-Wing, we're saved. Yeah. And I'm going, just hold the phone, Kara. He's coming, girlfriend. When I saw him, just hacking through all the these clones that are supposed to be, one of them had just about killed Mando, and he's just like taking care of business, and I I was like hitting Jeff, and I said, oh my gosh, is it Luke? Is it Luke? And then you see the glove, and I just freaked out. I was like screaming. I have not had a reaction to any episode of any movie or series that I can think of. I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs. It's Luke. It's Luke. And then when he, puts his Jedi robe hood down, I was just screaming. I had to obviously I rewatched it several times, but guys, I was just freaking out because for us, Dave, I stood in the lines I stood in those lines in 1977 as a child to see Star Wars. I remember those lines that wrapped around, the theaters for blocks. And to see Luke come back in this episode was such a huge gift to Star Wars fans from Dave Filoni. It was perfect. It was exciting to see Luke. In Star Wars, we never saw him in action, really. After he became a Jedi, we never got to see him fight as a Jedi. I'm still blown away. I still get excited about it. It was the best episode I've ever seen of anything in years. I loved it. I can't think of anything that they could have done with this episode that would have made it any better.
Yeah, it was done so well, and it fit. It wasn't just Luke Skywalker showing up.
Yeah.
And then it fit well, with the, not only did Luke show up, but then I don't think there was a dry eye when Mando had to say goodbye and help his helmet to Grogu. I mean, those two pieces in the same episode about time, that was a great ending to see.
It was killer. It was just it was amazing. It was just I thought that, for us, Dave, for people who, are old enough to remember when Star Wars came out and remember, Mark Hamill playing Luke as such a young man. He was like in his early 20s when he played Luke Skywalker.
Very, very young, yeah.
He was very young. I know Carrie Fisher was like 19 years old when she played Princess Leia in Star Wars. To see him, like I said, I was bouncing on the bed. I was screaming. I said, Jeff, it's got to be Luke. It's got to be Luke. There was a lot of speculation. Is it gonna be? There were several other Jedis that were still alive during that time period, but not very many. And it had to be Luke. It had to be Luke because nobody else would, evoked that emotion, from us as Star Wars fans, as to see him show up and rescue them and then take Grogu, to be trained. Would it be fantastic if we see more of him in season 3?
What did you think when Luke showed up, Dean?
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I always take another hallway scene, so,
It was, him. They've gotten really good with the lightsaber effects too. Over the years, like one of the episodes, they took the lightsaber, and I don't forgot who it was, but they cut those huge bells in half, and like a diagonal stuff fell off, and you could. I mean, they're getting so good with what the.
It was fantastic. Yeah, Ahsoka when she cut the. Oh my gosh, that was fantastic. I love that. I love that.
But Luke showing up, I think the technology was pretty good too. Obviously, he's still alive, but I think back to and I like Rogue One, but that scene reminded me a little bit to how they tried to do Princess Leia in Rogue One.
Yes.
At the end, I just think probably it was easier because you're dealing with a living person and trying to de-age somebody, which is a hologram or however they did Princess Leia. But I thought it was good, and they kept it a secret, which is hard to do about anything these days.
They did. That in itself was really amazing. Yeah. It really was. And leading up to that, with that whole. I mean, we could do a whole show on that episode. Yeah. And probably should. It's such a great episode. We see. Moff Gideon, the whole situation with Moff Gideon where Mando disarms him, takes the darksaber from him, which puts Bo-Katan, that sets up Bo-Katan, what is she going to do about that? Because now she has to fight Mando and win the darksaber from him in order to have a legitimate claim on the throne of Mandalore. So there were so many pieces to this episode that opens so many doors and gives some great segues into season 3. It was really amazing. So,
Well, I thought, Moff Gideon, let's talk about him some. I mean, he was a very good villain. Obviously, from Breaking Bad, right? I mean, he was an unbelievable villain in Breaking Bad. One of the best TV shows. Not for the kids, of course, but he played a villain in that one. And he was very good in Mandalorian, better than I expected, because he had big shoes to fill with Darth and Kylo Ren and some of the other baddies throughout the series, and Cad Bane and the Rebels. He had big shoes to fill, and I think he did it pretty well. Again, they picked a pretty good actor to do that, and not just somebody trying to fill Darth Vader's shoes. So I enjoyed Moff Gideon. In fact, I think he could have had more screen time. I think
he played Moff Gideon so well that a lot of, I read a lot of, chatter and things from fans wish that he had a lot more screen time. So, maybe we'll get to see him some more. I think we'll get to see him some more in season 3.
I hope so. I mean, I think there's a reason he lived at the end of season 2. So, let's see. What haven't we covered so far? Talked about characters, episodes. Talked about technology. What would you like to see in season 3, Dawn? What are things that would continue to blow you away?
Well, I think we're there's a lot of questions, and obviously the story can be continued really well. Again, and all of them are fantastic, because you've got Bo-Katan, you've got her, and Mando now owns the dark saber, answers to him now. I mean, it's kind of like the Elder Wand in Harry Potter, right? The dark saber, he took it away from Moff Gideon, and so he now legitimately owns that. And Bo-Katan cannot claim the throne of Mandalore legitimately without it. So something's going to happen there. I think that hope that we will see some more of the child with Luke in training. I think that would be amazing to see some more of that. Obviously, looking forward to seeing Boba Fett and the Book of Boba Fett. The little piece that they showed at the end there. It shows those double moons of Tatooine. Those, when it shows those double moons, obviously, it's no other place but Tatooine, Jabba the Hutt's palace, and it shows Fennec and Boba, fight their way in to confront Bib Fortuna, who took over Jabba the Hutt's throne. And, Bib Fortuna realizes it's Boba Fett, and he's immediately scared. I mean, obviously, he's scared of him. And so Boba Fett just shoots him and takes over the throne. I mean, they set themselves up on the throne. So, where's that going to go? The different directions that could go alone are. And so then we have, we know we're getting Ahsoka. We know we're getting Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
What else is coming? So Mando season 3 and the Book of Boba Fett.
Ahsoka. And then was another spinoff name that they announced?
Andor.
Oh, Andor for Rogue One fans.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a prequel.
Oh, wow. Okay. My opinion, Rogue One is one of my very favorite movies. It's one of my very favorite Star Wars movies. I think we ought to do a show on Rogue One. Yes.
We could do an entire show on Rogue One.
I loved Rogue One. It was fantastic, y'all. So that's great. I mean, I didn't know that. That's great. That's so. What is it? What's the buzz on that one?
It's about Cassian Andor, like the guy from Rogue One. It's about like what he did before Rogue One. Like he's a spy, right? So he did spy missions. I mean, I hope it includes K2SO, how he got him, because that's like my favorite Word character.
I didn't even know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like filming right now. So.
Hey, Kris. That is fantastic. That's exciting. You told me something.
One of the things that I think will be interested, I think Garrett's saying Luke and Grogu training, and Luke would get impatient with them. That would be like the polar opposite of Empire Strikes Back when Yoda was training Luke. So that could be, I think that could be very interesting. Or in my head, it could be the polar opposite. Who knows what they'll show on the screen, but I think that could be entertaining too.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that Mark Hamill would be open to that. I think that would be, man, I know that I would love to see more of Luke. I thought the technology was fine. The de-aging, I thought it was fine. A lot of people, were not pleased with it. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad. I think I only need a little de-aging technology.
Yeah,
at least my kids tell me that. And then Kris, one of the big things we haven't mentioned yet is the snowball merchandising avalanche of Baby Yoda, and how they kept I thought it was interesting how they kept the merchandise back from it for a while. That was to me, that was an interesting move. I think Filoni and Favreau said they did that on purpose, but they could have sold a lot more earlier on. I mean, we're still buying Baby Yoda stuff. I still see it everywhere.
Yeah. And, and it'll pick up, those sales will pick up again, when the Mandalorian comes back and that's one reason alone, Dave, right? For them to show more Baby Yoda is to sell more merch. So I think we'll see Baby Yoda again.
All right, dog cat lover. She's wanting some kind of Marvel crossover. I don't see that.
Sebastian Stan to be
yes. Somebody's really liking Sebastian Stan in the household. Let me just say that. So
I think what do you think about that? About Sebastian Stan?
He looks like him.
He's a good actor.
He's willing to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that's been rumored beyond dog cat lover, but I don't know. Has there been somebody in both Marvel and Star Wars?
What?
Who's been in both? Has there been an actor in both series?
Yeah, who plays Vision? Paul.
Oh, yes. Paul Bettany.
That's it.
Yeah.
Dryden Voss, Vision. There's definitely more people.
Dryden Voss. That's right. Dryden Voss. I forget about Solo. I did see Solo, and he was Dryden Voss. You're right.
Yep. That's true. I wouldn't have any problem with seeing Sebastian Stan play Luke Skywalker. I think he looks a lot like him, guys. I think he could if they didn't want to do the de-aging technology. I think he would be a logical choice to do that. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
So. I would just like to see him like his the last three movies. I don't think we saw him kind of like his old self in the first three movies. I'm not talking about age, but his character took some turns in the last three movies that may not have been his character in the first three movies, in the 4, 5, and 6, I should say, at least in my opinion. And I saw 7, 8, and 9. I thought they were fine, but some of the things that had Luke, he just seemed kind of not the Luke from 4,
not
5,
Luke.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of Star Wars fans, had trouble with that. Obviously, the big thing that I had the most trouble with was when he tosses the lightsaber, over the cliff, basically. I'm really surprised. Now, they say that Mark Hamill really had a problem with that, If I'd been Mark Hamill, I would have refused to do that. I'm sorry. I just, and I think with Rise of Skywalker, they kind of tried to, it was a different director. I think they kind of tried to heal some of those wounds, and I really appreciated that because people hated that. Star Wars fans hated that when, this big buildup, was for her to find Luke Skywalker, and she finally finds Luke Skywalker. And at the end of the movie, she's extending the saber, his lightsaber to him. And at the beginning of the next movie, he tosses it over the cliff. Who thought that was a good idea? That was horrible. It was horrible. No.
I like Ryan Johnson. I'd like some in the movie, but I agree. Just some of the things Luke did just seemed like out of character from his previous movies. That's all. I mean, you're not going to make all the Star Wars fans happy, me included.
No. And Star Wars fans love to gripe,
Oh yes.
But that one was particularly bad. I just thought that was a bad. And I get it, that he was on this island because he's traumatized and he's, I get all that. But in Rise of Skywalker, when she, just tosses the lightsaber into the fire, and he comes out of the fire and hands it back to her and says, "That's no way to handle a lightsaber." It was like, thank you. They fixed it. I love that.
Thank you. I think Garrett said it better. Yeah, he was a little bitter that
he was.
Nobody. Yeah. I don't think anybody. I didn't like to see Luke Skywalker like that.
Right. I think it was just, some characters. Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill played such an iconic role there. I mean, I think Luke Skywalker, the character Luke Skywalker, really kind of he was a hero, to kids, and he just. I mean, I've read people who were kids at that time, and he really was kind of an inspiration, to kids, and so to see him portrayed in that manner as being so angry and so bitter was really a letdown, regardless of what had happened to him. So I really thought Rise of Skywalker did a nice job of maybe healing some of those wounds, and I know people were not particularly, a lot of people weren't happy with that movie, but I felt like it was fun. I did appreciate the fact that they tried to fix some of the mistakes that they'd made in earlier movies in that same trilogy. So I appreciated it anyway.
Yeah, we could do another stream on ranking the movies. That would be interesting. I think I read a bunch of other people's rankings, and I rarely agree with them. Usually, I'm agreeing with maybe 4 of the 9, but that's another stream, and I'm going to put that on the list. So I don't know, myself for season 3, I would like to see more Luke and training Grogu. I just hope they keep the adventure of it, the Saturday morning serial type thing, space western, Indiana Jones, in space, however you want to call it. I think it's a great mix. And I don't think it's the violence is overly violent. I think with some of the things go on, obviously people have blasters that happens in some of the episodes, but I think they've handled the violence in the series fairly well, but the mix of the music and the characters and the plots each hour, and they've been fairly different, which is refreshing to me. When I look at the episode list I have over here, that's what I'm keep looking at. There's 8 episodes in season 1 and 8 in season 2. They're all like a little bit different. I don't know that I've seen a repeat in the ideas. If I did, I haven't noticed.
Now, what did we go over your favorite episodes?
We kind of left that. I talked about The Prisoner, and I just didn't talk really about anything else, but we could go back there. We have some time here. I want to say we talked about The Prisoner, so I won't go back there. There's so many. And I think the other one was The Marshal with Timothy.
Timothy Oliphant. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. He was justified in some other great shows. Yeah. I think watching that and watching those two kind of play off each other, and the Tusken Raiders, that it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And the Crate Dragon. I thought the Crate Dragon, was pretty cool there. It was so funny because in our episode where we talked about that, they after they killed the Crate Dragon, Mando puts that enormous hunk of meat, on his land speeder, and he takes it back and they cook it. And William said, okay, I think that, Docking Bay 7 needs to add Crate Dragon to their menu in Galaxy's Edge. It did look pretty good.
Garrett, I couldn't agree more with your last two comments. I think that's Garrett, not Michelle. But yeah, it totally did put them on the map, because
I agree.
7, 8, 9, like the fan base was fractured, I think is a fair assessment.
I agree.
The other episode, which I thought was so much fun, Don, I can't remember exactly which one is season 1, the second or third one, when he's hanging on to the sandcrawler, and that whole that whole series on the sandcrawler with the Jawas, that was so much fun.
It was.
I mean, he tries to get scraped off the land, and then they're throwing the junk on him, and the Jawas are so much fun anyway. That really, like, a level of enjoyment in a TV show that I hadn't been in a while. It took me back to my childhood, and it was a lot of fun. And it was, that one was so well done.
It was. I enjoyed. I can't think of who directed that one, but it's, that's the other thing that we really haven't touched on, Dave, is the directors. There were, it's like the dream team, right? So it's Jon Favreau, who was also a producer. You had Dave Filoni, you had Deborah Chow, Rick Famuyiwa, Bryce Dallas Howard, Taika Waititi, and then Peyton Reed came on for season 2. And one of my favorite episodes was Sanctuary. It was chapter 4 of season 1. It was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. I thought she did just a fantastic job with directing that. But that was the one where they're trying to lay low. It's after the sin. They're trying to lay low. They go to the planet where they're trying to hide out, basically. And he meets Omera, which is Julia Jones, and she also played Leia in Twilight, by the way, and some other movies. But she played Omera in this, and she offers, she asks him to stay. She says, you can stay here. And of course, they realize after they find the tracker he realizes that the child has a tracker, that he can't stay, and he can't leave the child with her. But that was a neat. I thought that was we see the ATSTs in that episode, which was a lot of fun. So I really liked that episode. That one was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
They're all so good. I mean, it's hard to tell them apart because it's a high bar. And
yes,
I watched The Gallery. If you're a Mandalorian fan, do yourself a favor, go on Disney Plus and watch The Gallery, because that's behind the scenes. The directors talking a round table with Kathleen Kennedy and Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Yes.
And you can kind of see, how they do it a little bit and behind the scenes and how they work, which to me is very interesting. And I'm not anything close to a filmmaker. One thing, talk about a Marvel Star Wars connection. Let's go back to, I'm going to butcher his name, but Taika Waititi. So he's the voice of IG-11. He directs some of the Mando episodes, and he directed Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I mean, and I thought that was one of the better MCU movies. That's, I'm probably missing one of the movies he did too. Maybe not, but I mean, how talented can you be, man? I mean, for both franchises.
Yeah. That's a pretty high mark. I mean, that's a pretty high bar there to have just hit it out of the park for both franchises. And, we're huge fans of both franchises. And so to see him, direct several episodes of The Mandalorian, knowing that he did Ragnarok, I thought, how in the world did Jon Favreau assemble this amazing group of, how many shows have 6 directors? Yeah. And how did he manage to direct all of the directors, and to say, okay, you do this episode, you do this, and to have it turn out so well. I mean, it's just incredible. It really is.
I have Dog Cat Lover tell me he's also directing Thor Love and Thunder coming up. much anticipated next Thor movie.
Okay, yeah, Garrett. Yeah, I see. I think Garrett, you like Rogue One too. I know. Rogue One is Garrett's a big fan of Rogue One.
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure it was Gareth Edwards.
Garth Edwards, Gareth. I don't know.
It's one of them.
Yeah, back on the episodes, Don, I those two come to mind, but as I rewatched them over the last 10, 14 days, they were all good. I didn't find myself saying, "Oh, let me just skip this one. This was not entertaining."
Right.
They were all good.
They were. My other two favorites, The Sanctuary was one of my favorites from season 1. My other two favorites were The Jedi in season 2, where they introduced Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
And The Heiress, where they introduced Bo-Katan. And then The Rescue, obviously, the finale where Luke came into it. Those were probably but it's like you said, it's really hard to choose because they were all excellent.
Yeah, I liked Bo-Katan's character. I wasn't super familiar with her from the Clone Wars. I know Dean was, but I was personally not. I mean, I know Ahsoka.
What do you think? Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Dean, what do you think of Bo-Katan's character? What are your impressions of her?
Oh, I love anything from the Clone Wars, so I love her. And I hope in season 3, in the Clone Wars, she's originally like a bad guy, and she slaughters a village, right? So I hope we get to see that version of Bo-Katan.
And she goes against her sister, who is, Duchess Satine, who is on the throne of Mandalore at the time. So,
yep.
She's a member of the Death Watch. It's not like me to be so excited about technically a bad guy, from the Clone Wars, but I was just so excited to see her character come into the Mandalorian and to see, her as Bo-Katan. I just loved it. I'm like you. I love the Clone Wars. It's fantastic. So I just wondered what your impressions of her. Now, what do you think will happen? What are your predictions? What do you think will happen? What's she going to do to get the Darksaber from Mando? Because she can't claim the throne of Mandalore legitimately without it, even though she's the heir. She's the legitimate heir. She's got to have the Darksaber.
She kind of becomes a good guy later. She's like the definition of an ulterior motives good guy. She kind of becomes a good guy, someone in the Clone Wars, near the end. She wants Ahsoka to help her take back Mandalore, and it's technically good, but she also has a bit of wanting to rule Mandalore, but it doesn't exactly go so well. And then she also appears in Rebels, and she actually takes the Darksaber from Sabine without doing the whole combat thing.
She does.
It didn't work out so well, so I'm assuming she's not going to try that again.
So okay. Now that was when I saw that whole, Moff Gideon really baits her there. When I saw that whole, Moff Gideon is saying, well, you can't, he can't just hand it to you. You have to win it in battle. Oh, and my mind immediately went to Sabine Wren. And I thought, okay, but Sabine Wren handed it to her. So how do we reconcile those?
Welcome in, Jeffrey, by the way. Good to have you in the stream.
Yeah, so I guess Sabine handed to her after convincing her that it was okay not to, and to the approval of all the other Mandalorians that were there in that episode.
Right.
Obviously, something happened between Rebels and the Mandalorian where I guess maybe she lost the Darksaber because of the illegitimacy of how she got it.
Right. Maybe so. Yeah. Okay. That works for me because I immediately had a problem with that. I thought, okay, wait a minute. Now Sabine Wren just handed it to her. So why can't because Mando says, take it. I don't want it here. So maybe, that something happened in between the Clone Wars and this time period. She has to win it back. So yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
So have we seen the Darksaber yet in Galaxy's Edge? I mean, it's a matter of time, right? sooner or later they're going to be selling that. Maybe they already are. I haven't seen it lately, but
no, I think that there's like one that's just like a general toy.
A general toy, yeah. The Legacy Dark Saber is coming. I'm sure of that. And sooner or later, it'll pop up in Galaxy's Edge. I'm guessing around the time maybe of season 3 premiere. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
I'm thinking so too. I had a chance, guys. When I was we were in Disneyland for the opening of the Trading Post, the Galaxy's Edge Trading Post there in downtown Disney at Disneyland, and I had a shot. I mean, there's a video up on the channel, Star Wars Trading Post. They had Ahsoka sabers. They had her Clone Wars sabers and her sabers from the Mandalorian. They had, but they're different. And it was a pair. You know, there was like, and I didn't buy them.
Uh-oh.
And I have kicked myself after we left. Like we were driving. You know, we were like several miles away from Disneyland, and I finally got a hold of William. And Mom said, "Oh my gosh," he said, "I wish I had known." He said, "I would have given you the money for those because they're sold out in Disney World. You can't get Ahsoka's lightsabers." So that's missed opportunity.
I'm just going through some of the comments here, and everybody welcoming Jeffrey. Garrett, I don't know about that, Garrett, but interesting. That might be an interesting choice.
No, nah. No.
All right, that one knocked me off my game. Garrett.
Yeah. Right. Definitely.
So, I guess we should be predicting when season 3 is actually going to premiere. And Dawn and I talked about that, before the stream started. And I'm not sure when it's going to premiere. I'd heard after the Book of Boba Fett. And I heard December, and I heard Book of Boba Fett's coming to December, which would imply it would be next year. What do you think, Dean?
Book of Boba Fett is this December, and Mandalorian season 3 is probably next December.
Really? We gotta wait another year and a half?
Yeah, I mean,
are you sure?
Yeah, they wouldn't dare air it next to the Book of Boba Fett. That would just be a foolish decision. I mean, why would they have 2 Star Wars shows running at once? That's just not how business works.
Yeah, well, I know they're not going to do it at the same time, but I guess
they wouldn't air it right after the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
They just make no sense.
Yeah.
I think Garrett was just trying to get a rise out of us with that comment.
Oh, he's so YouTube savvy. He knows how to do it.
I'm happy with Katie Sackhoff, Garrett, just for the record.
Yes, Jeffrey, I did see your comment. And so, yes, prayers for the collapsed building in Florida and Miami. It's a terrible situation. So sending hearts and prayers for that to those folks out there. And I don't want to make light of that. It's just not, it's just terrible.
Yeah.
But let's move back to Star Wars. I guess, let's wrap up The Mandalorian, and then, Dawn, we can talk about what's coming up on both of our channels here as we're getting close to the 90-minute mark here, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Right. Any closing thoughts on The Mandalorian? Anything we didn't cover that you want to cover? I know we've talked a little bit about it here for a while.
Oh, wow. There's just, it's really difficult to put all of it into 90 minutes. I think obviously, as we said at the beginning, I agree with you. I think this is the best Star Wars content we've had since Star Wars came out in 1977. I think it really pleases me that the Star Wars legacy is now in Jon Favreau's hands and Dave Filoni, because I think they get it. I think number one, they're Star Wars fans. And so I think that's why they have done such a brilliant job with this particular series. I love it. It's the best series I've seen in years. I'm so anxious to see what's coming next. Again, Kris, I think there are there's so many different fantastic, plot lines to go down. The whole, Grand Admiral Thrawn thing. how's Bo-Katan going to regain the dark saber, and if she's wanting to to go back and take Mandalore back. What's going to happen with Luke and the child? What's next for the Mandalorian? What's he going to do next? He's the clan of two is dissolved at this point. So they're just, it just, but so many different good directions it can go. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because I was thinking back, now that Grogu is gone, if he doesn't come back for a couple episodes, what is the next story arc for Mando? Because
right,
I always thought Grogu came in the middle of season 1. I rewatched it; he was at the end of the first episode, so he's really been in every episode from the get go. So now, most of the episodes. So now we're going to have a series, at least probably some episodes without him. So it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. It will.
Yeah, so let's I'm excited. I agree with you. I said it earlier in the stream in case you weren't with us. Mando, the content is the best I've seen since the original movies.
Oh yeah.
Best live action.
All right, live action. I know I got
I agree.
Mr. Clone Wars over here next to me. So.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of the Clone Wars too. I'm with you.
All right, so Don, for anybody that joined, what would they see if they're going to come over to Hitchhiking Bones? Just give us a recap of what your channel's about and what you got coming up, or some vlogs that you'd like to give a little special attention to.
Okay, well, the Hitchhiking Bones is obviously mainly Disney content, although it's not completely limited to Disney content. We do mainly Disney. We have live streams. We love to live stream from the parks. We have recipes from the parks. We have a playlist for that. We do Hitchhiker Chat every Tuesday night. We do Hitchhiker Chat, and it is 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. And we talk about, Disney news, just, all things Disney on that. So please join us for that on Tuesday nights. And we normally drop a vlog every Saturday morning. So there's my latest vlog was from a trip. I took my granddaughter, my eldest granddaughter, to Walt Disney World for the first time in April. And so there's a lot up on the channel, about that. But the latest video that I dropped is a Pop Century Resort tour and a tour of the room. And so that's the latest one. There are a couple of new shorts, the Skyliner, and the next video on Saturday, I will be, my husband and I were really blessed to go to Hawaii. We were went to Oahu. We're on Oahu in February, and we spent a couple of nights at Aulani, which is Disney's resort there on Oahu. And I have a lot of that content, but I'm dropping a video on Saturday. I did a review of the DVC 2-bedroom villa with a garden view there at Aulani. So that's coming up on Saturday. So be watching for that.
Awesome. Yeah, we're fans of your channel.
Thanks.
I think we met through Doa's dad's Vlogmas last year.
I think, yeah.
He did such a good job with the creators that he identified, and we're appreciative of that. And we watch his channel too, by the way. So go check out Jeff over at Doa Dad.
Absolutely.
Let's see, Adventures by D. Like other folks have gotten out and traveled some. So we've been to Kings Island up near Cincinnati. It's a great amusement park. We've been to Holiday World, a nice family-run amusement park in Santa Claus, Indiana. So check out those vlogs. You can find them on our channel. The easiest way to find us is just go to YouTube and search Adventures _D, or just check out our link tree. It's got all the links to our latest channels. I guess I'll bring it up for folks so they can see it while I'm talking. But the big thing that I'm really excited about is we're going to be live streaming from Busch Gardens, Tampa. Dean, are you excited about that?
Absolutely. I'm the one who wanted to go there.
Oh, okay. So Dean's really excited about it. He's been before, and I have not. So Dean, maybe you're going to have to show me around there.
Yeah, I'm the only person in my family who's been. I went for like a school trip a couple of years ago, and I really loved it. So I've always wanted to go back since. And so now I'm like fully vaccinated. I know I'm able to go safely. So
Nice. We love Busch Gardens. We're overdue for a trip, so I'm anxious to watch those live streams, kind of get caught up and see what's there. What's changed since we were there.
Yeah, so if you come to our channel, you'll get Disney stuff, but we also cover Six Flags Over Georgia, Dollywood. Also, we cover Wild Adventures, which is a nice park down in Valdosta, Georgia, kind of halfway between Atlanta and Orlando. Go check out that park if you haven't been. We were fortunate. We had some media coverage from there early in the year on opening day, and it's a nice park. It's got animals, it's got rides, and it's got a water park. So very comparable to Busch Gardens, and worth the stop between Atlanta and Orlando. Absolutely, definitely, and we're looking forward to getting back there this year. Nice. Thank you, Karki, as always. And then coming up is the live stream from Busch Gardens Tampa in a couple of weeks. That'll be the next live stream in 2 weeks, starting a little later at 8:30, and then we'll go through the end of the fireworks, which will be around 10 o'clock.
Nice.
So we do live stream from the parks, but this one's, we got our tech down, knock on wood, that hopefully it's going to work and the gimbal's going to behave and everything's going to be good. So looking forward to that. And I think,
hey, Dawn, I've been watching virtually. Wait, did you say Dollywood?
Yes, I said Dollywood.
Oh, wait, there's something coming up tomorrow night at Dollywood, isn't there?
Oh, there is.
Oh.
It is the summer drone show.
Yes.
Really?
I'm covering it.
Yes. So look for
yay.
Dollywood content.
Yes.
That's fantastic. I'm going to be watching. Super.
Yeah. Garrett wants to know about Disneyland membership. I have no idea what they're going to be like. I mean, so we're in Georgia, so we don't get to Disneyland as much as obviously folks in California or maybe somebody from Texas. We would love to go more. It's just a extra plane flight getting out. We've been 2018. We went as a family, and I went on at the end of a business trip a couple years ago. Yeah. But I am interested in what they do with the passes and how they tier them.
Have they released it? I know they said they were going to have it. Have they given details?
I haven't seen, unless Garrett's seen something, I haven't seen details on it. But the thing about it is, guys, William and I are just waiting to jump on those annual passes, if they release them for Disney World. And I think they're probably gonna, they may actually change the annual pass for Disney World to be something like what they've got in mind for Disneyland. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what they do with that. We're watching that closely.
Welcome into the stream, Kris.
Oh, thank you. I was virtual. We were in the car. We got here, and then Dean says, "I want to go in." So I'm like, "You go for it."
Yeah. I'm glad he came in.
Yeah, he was commenting in the car as we're driving.
Yeah.
You just couldn't hear him.
I would love to. I'm a huge Clone Wars fan. It seems like we share that in common. I'd like to talk to Dean more and get some more of his thoughts on the Clone Wars. It's fantastic.
He is all over the Clone Wars and Rebels too. So one of the Star Wars things which I'd never watch is Rebels. So he tells me I need to watch Rebels to connect the Clone Wars to Rebels to, I think, to Rogue One maybe.
Right. And
works out.
And you really need to do that. You need to watch Rebels, Dave, before the third season of The Mandalorian comes out, because Ahsoka is after Grand Admiral Thrawn. And Grand Admiral Thrawn is introduced in Rebels. He's a big character in Rebels. Rebels was really hard for me to get. The first, stick with it. It gets better. The first 2 or 3 episodes, I almost dropped out of it. And I thought, no, I'm going to give it a chance because, because it's Star Wars content. And I did, and I'm glad I did. So I just for your information, I had a little trouble getting into Rebels the first few episodes. I'm glad I stuck with it.
One of the things so I'm used to the Clone Wars animation, and that animation's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's not as pretty. It's not. I was glad to see that the Bad Batch is in that Clone Wars, that nice Clone Wars animation. I was really glad to see that. That's one thing. As you watch it, you kind of get used to the animation. It's not as good. But I would love to have seen Rebels use that same animation as Clone Wars did. That was a problem that I had with it at first. But it is good. it's good.
Yeah, that's one of my issues too. But like you said, maybe if I get past it after a couple episodes,
Yeah,
start to get into it.
yeah, I think so. And do it, pretty quick, get that under your belt, get that knowledge under your belt, because a lot of pieces in Rebels are going to come into play in the Mandalorian season 3. I really do.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to that.
It's great how they tie everything together between the movies and
Right.
the series with Disney Plus, like Marvel doing the same thing. It's wild to see it. Like, it's so smart. You
Yes.
haven't ever seen that before between
Yes.
multiple mediums. So
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. And I love it. Fans are just eating that up. We love all the Easter eggs and the way they, tie things together. It's fantastic storytelling. It's just good storytelling. Walt Disney would love it.
Yeah, he would. I mean, that's what makes that gallery series. I probably didn't talk enough about it on the stream, but the gallery series behind, the making of sort of The Mandalorian, if you're into the show, that to me is just as fascinating as
very nice. Yeah, I agree. Be sure and watch that it's on Disney Plus.
Yes, it
That's
is.
a lot. Yeah, good stuff.
And I was reading Monarch Moment's comment there, Garrett, talking about it might be maybe the memberships might be based on points. I've always thought, I don't know if it would be popular or unpopular. In Disney World, I'm talking world, there's so many hotels. You stay in them, you get nothing for it, right? Like, I always thought, why don't they do points like a Hilton or a Marriott where if you stay on property, maybe you could use that towards redeeming things or better prices or getting in the parks. I've just always, because you stay there, I know you get transportation and you get now was it a half hour earlier, but I've always thought, man, they have 30 hotels or something like when they open them again. Yeah, I've always wondered about that. Like, why don't they have this frequent? Now, some people stay so much, maybe they would game the system. I don't know, but it would be great. Disneyland, harder. You only have 3 hotels to do it. They probably could give you an incentive to stay on their property versus one of the good neighbors. So,
I had never thought about that, Kris. I mean, they have DVC, and obviously, they want you to spend the money for DVC, but that's a fantastic idea, to offer something like that, because it'll be interesting to see if some of those perks of staying on property, they want you to stay on property so that you don't spend your money anywhere else. They want to keep you on property, spending your money on Disney. So, I think that would be a great idea. We'll just, send a memo to Bob Chapek and let him know we think this is a great idea.
And could you imagine if you stayed so many times, you got a club upgrade?
Yeah.
I mean, people stay. And if you're DVC, maybe if you buy so many points, you get things. Because I don't think they really do that either. You're just buying it. And they could really come up with some amazing rewards. I mean, they have such passionate fans that they could really reward.
That's true.
Way.
I think I had not thought of that. I think it's a great idea, Kris.
They do a little bit with the Disney Visa, but they could do it a lot more.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They could definitely expand that. I agree.
Yeah, but what they're going to do with the passes, it's going to be interesting.
Please don't mess this up. We want annual passes so bad, y'all, and we're just, William and I are talking about this and going, what if they mess it up?
So, Dawn, do you all go to? I asked everybody from Texas is for some reason or lives there. So, do you go to Disneyland more? Or you go to Disney World more since you're kind of centrally located between the two?
We consider Disney World our home park. But we absolutely love Disneyland. My husband and I went to Disneyland. It was his first time ever to be at Disneyland. I've been, several times. And since first time I went to Disneyland, I was probably about 10 or something, 10 or 12 maybe. But have y'all ever been to Disneyland?
Yeah. We've been 4 or 5 times, a couple times with the kids.
Then as a Disney fan, you've got to do Disneyland. If you're a diehard Disney fan, you have to do Disneyland. We absolutely love it, and we're kind of overdue. I want to get out there and see, Garrett Michelle and take a look at Avengers Campus. But we kind of consider a Disney World our home park because we definitely go that way more. It's 15 and a half hours of driving for us to get to Disney World. So we usually split that up, spend the night maybe in Pensacola Beach or something, split that up and head on in. But we love both parks. It's really hard to compare the two. I've always said I think it's hard to compare the two. They're both great.
I love Disneyland. Just it's much easier to get around. Like
it is.
You can pretty much walk everywhere.
Yeah.
Disney wise, pretty easy. They're all really like located together versus
in all the hotels.
Yeah.
If you choose on property or off, it's all right there. Yeah.
Well, and even downtown Disney, because so people who have only been to Disneyland, who go to Disney World, I've talked to a lot of people who had no clue. I mean, they think Disney World is like Disneyland. No, Disney World is Walt's bigger dream. I mean, you can't walk across the Esplanade from, Magic Kingdom to Epcot. You can't, people don't realize that. They don't realize just how big it is, that you got to take buses. Disney World is a city. It's a small city. It really is.
Welcome in, Rhonda. Thanks for joining.
Oh, hey, Rhonda.
We're talking about, we've left the Mando, and we've talking about really Disneyland and Disney World before we wrap up here.
I mean, Dawn, you had a stream just Tuesday on all the most current news. So I'm sure you were jam-packed. I had
information dump. I mean, they just dumped a ton of information on us about the 50th. Exciting stuff. It's the fireworks coming back. Guys, that's such a milestone. That's big, to see fireworks back in Disney World. I am looking forward to it. I'll be glued to Resort TV 1 on July 1st to watch those fireworks. There will probably not be a dry eye in the place. I'm excited about that. That's a big one.
We will too. I don't know how many fireworks show I'm going to get in between Busch Gardens, myself in person, Resort TV 1 over the YouTube, and then all the other ones between the 1st and the 8th. Some local ones here will probably attend. I missed fireworks, and we're about to get our fill, like a lot of people, over the next couple of weeks. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I think we're all after 2020, we're all excited to get our fireworks fixed. Yeah. So. Definitely.
All right. We've gone way over. I didn't know I was going to have so many guests here in the Adventures by D studio here. It's nice to welcome in people as they show up. So, Dawn, thanks so much for all your time. Go check out the Hitchhiking Bones.
Thanks.
Great creator. Disney, non-Disney, all kinds of stuff on there. We went over her channel. So if you missed that, rewind the stream. Hey, Rhonda. We know where you are here. Rhonda DWG is local to us here. So looking forward to getting out and seeing her in a vlog.
Oh, hey, Yadi.
Coming up. Hey, Yadi, thanks for joining. We're just wrapping up here. We talked about Mando and we talked about Disneyland and Disney World. And that's okay. You can run, but that's the beauty of YouTube. Watch it on the replay. Run it back and watch it. So no problem whatsoever. And I know there's a lot of choices. So if you're here and you're here and appreciate it, give us a thumbs up before you leave on the way out. If you haven't already, watch both of our channels. And that's about it. I appreciate Dawn and your time, and check out the Hitchhiking Bones.
And say hi to Will for us.
Yes. Oh, we will. Yeah, he gosh, guys, he apologized for not being able to make it. You know how much he loves talking about Star Wars.
Yes.
So he would, but he's in addition to his full-time job, he's also teaching a college class. So he doesn't have time to breathe much, but maybe I'm hoping next time. But thanks for having me. I can talk about Star Wars all night, so I appreciate y'all having me on.
I think Kris strategically came in the end because it was a Star Wars.
No, I like Star Wars, but you really like Star Wars. And Dawn, you are a mega fan. Like, you were so well researched.
Oh, thanks. I do love it. I do. I just like sci-fi, Kris. I've just always been a sci-fi fan. I love Star Trek. Star Trek. I just love sci-fi. So yeah, but I appreciate you having me on. It's been so much fun.
Yes, we've enjoyed it too here. So just thanks everybody for joining. like, consider subscribing to both of our channels. And we will see you from Busch Gardens in 2 weeks. And
Yay!
check out the Hitchhiking Bones. And with that,
We need to say this is the way.
yes,
You know?
yes. This I didn't say it the whole stream. You're right.
There you go. This is the way.
Maybe it means with you, but really, you should say this is the way.
Yeah.
All
Till the
right.
spire, travelers.
That's right. This is the way. And then finally,
We have spoken.
we have spoken. And may the adventures be with you. Bye, everybody. Thanks
Bye.
for joining.
Bye, guys. Thanks again.
All right.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and
Ringing a bell.
so you'll be notified of our next upload. And as always, may the adventures be with you.